back to my channel. I'm Ashanti. If you're new here, before we get started, you already know what I'm gonna say. You already know what I'm gonna do. Join the squad, join the family, okay? You already know where we're at. We're in my bathroom, and you know when I put the bonnet on, we're doing some type of self-care treatment. It's hot outside, y'all. I wanted to do like a get ready with me, but honestly, it's just too hot to put some makeup on. So I figured I would do like a dermaplaning and like chit chat while I do some skincare type thing. Today, we're gonna be talking about my PCOS journey. I figure recently I've been getting a lot of DMs on Instagram. You guys have been following me on Instagram, which I'm really excited about. Thank you for finding me on other social platforms. But you guys have had like a lot of questions regarding my PCOS and how I deal with it, how I treat it, and all that stuff like that. So I figure I'd take this opportunity to explain to you guys my entire PCOS journey. I'm gonna be dermaplaning my face today. And also, if you want a separate video on specifically how to like specific step-by-steps, I mean, I can do it in this one, but if you want like a separate video without me talking about everything else, just comment down below if you need that, and just keep watching. So I got this facial steamer from Target. It works just like any other steaming device that you might have. It's got a little cartridge in the back. You take this little cartridge and you fill it up with water, and you pop that in there, and you just turn it on, and it'll start steaming. When did my PCOS journey begin? Okay, so honestly, when I was younger, I always had a irregular period, but I was always afraid to say stuff to my mom about it because, like, I don't know, like this whole, I was scared that I was like gonna end up like, I was scared that she was gonna think I was pregnant, so I just never said anything. But I've always had like really heavy periods, really irregular periods from the beginning. And well, not from the very beginning, maybe like around like 18, 19 years old. That's like when I really started noticing that my period was just not a regular one. Let's see, it's starting to steam already. Can you guys see the steam? I don't know, but yeah, so I'm gonna start by steaming my face. I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't think anything was wrong. When I was younger, I got into a relationship with somebody that this feels so good. I got into a relationship really young, and I had just joined the Navy, and I had met this guy, and we really shouldn't have been together, especially with me being that young. But I got into a relationship with someone, and after about 2 years of being together, I had gotten pregnant. At that point, I was like 21, and I miscarried on Valentine's Day of 2010. And I was devastated, but I also like realized that, you know, everything happens for a reason. And honestly, like to this day, I'm like, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that person anymore. So that's that. I couldn't imagine me still having to deal with that person 10 years later. After my miscarriage, I had a follow-up appointment with my doctor, and they had me do some ultrasounds of my uterus. From those ultrasounds, we realized that I had cystic ovaries, and I also had a fibroid literally in the center of my uterus. So at that time, they believed that the fibroid had grown in size with the increase of HCG in my system. Fibroids feed off of pregnancy hormones, so when my baby was growing, my fibroid was growing too, and there wasn't enough room in my uterus, which caused me to miscarry. A lot of black women deal with fibroids, and I don't even realize it, but this is how I found out that I had a fibroid. So after that, the very first thing that my doctor did, I did realize that before I got pregnant, I did realize that I had hair growth in my face, and I was trying to get treatment for that. My doctor had given me some topical cream that was supposed to reduce the hair in my face. That didn't work. At the time, laser hair removal was not an option because there was not a laser that was designed for darker skin tones. This was like 10 years ago. So I didn't even have the option of doing that at the time. And like, because they had always told me that if I get the laser hair removal treatments, then I'll end up having hyperpigmentation where my hair was. So I didn't want that. So I didn't deal with that. And then that's when I just started using like Veet, shaving my face and everything else. After we realized that I had cystic ovaries, my doctor immediately prescribed me, what is that stuff called? Metformin. My doctor immediately put me on metformin, and I had a really really hard time with metformin. I did not like metformin. It messed my stomach up so bad, and honestly I stopped using it. I was just like, I can't do it. It made me feel so sick, and I don't think I gave metformin a chance to like truly like work, but I could not do it. Like I just was like, the way I was feeling sick all the time. I was just like, man, this metformin stuff is just not for me. Now, after I got out of that relationship, my doctor ended up saying, so since you don't want to be on metformin, another way we can regulate your hormones is to put you on birth control. 2012, I got put on birth control, and I tried that, and actually I had a regular cycle through a whole year on birth control, on regular, just the pill. I had no problems with it. In 2013, I went on a deployment. I was in the Navy, if you guys didn't know. In 2013, I went on a deployment, and I actually stopped the birth control because I couldn't keep the prescription filled while I was gone, so I just stopped the birth control. But I actually still had a regular cycle through the entire year. I think I can attribute that to being around a lot of women, and I had lost a good amount of weight. I had lost like 35 pounds on deployment, and so I believe that had a lot to do with why my cycle had just regulated itself. So I had no problems then. I also wasn't trying to get pregnant either, so I don't really, in regards to fertility around this time, like I really did not know anything about it. Okay, so now I'm done steaming my face, y'all, and that steam felt so good. Now I'm about to start dermaplaning. I have this aloe vera gel, and I got this dermaplaning tool from Target as well. It's by Sema. I'm gonna take it out the box so you guys can see. Let me take it out the box first. So this is what the tool looks like. Is it already charged? No, of course not. Okay, I'm gonna just keep steaming my face while I let that charge. Moving forward, I actually had lost a lot of weight, and I had a regular cycle. So I just tracked my cycle for the next couple of years. A few years later, I noticed, like towards the end of my Navy career, I noticed that I actually was having a hard time. Like my cycle was no longer regulated because I had gained so much weight. And that's one point I want to make. Like a lot of issues that you may have with PCOS really is because of weight. Like, and the fact that it's hard to lose it, very easy to gain it, the whole testosterone thing, like it just makes everything complicated. But in 2015, I went to my GYN, and I was just expressing some concerns about, like, nobody could really tell me what was wrong with me. My hair and my face was getting out of control. I was gaining so much weight. I was gaining weight, but I wasn't even getting a crazy amount of weight. I thought I was gaining a lot of weight, but honey, I haven't even tipped the iceberg yet. I had just been expressing like a lot of concerns about like my health, and I was just really worried that, you know, I don't know, I just was feeling like, I wasn't trying to get pregnant or anything, but I was just feeling like nobody could really tell me what was wrong, and I was just really frustrated. Now, my last doctor in the Navy just happened to be a GYN, so when I was assigned to her, she recommended that I get back on birth control to regulate my cycle and also help me lose weight. But she recommended me trying the IUD, Mirena, and at the time I was like, well, I don't mind. I really wasn't trying to have no kids at that time, and I was like, okay. So she inserted the Mirena in 2015, and at that time she told me when she was putting it in, she could tell that like I had a lot of lining, excess lining from not having a normal cycle. So she told me that, you know, I would shed a lot around that time. Now, when I started the Mirena is when like most of my complications and trouble started regarding PCOS, fibroids, all that stuff like that. Anything with my uterus, any like true problem. This is why I would never recommend Mirena ever to anybody, ever. Do not use that thing, man. I don't know what it is about Mirena, but that thing had me all messed up. I still had the fibroid in my uterus, mind you, and they said that it wouldn't affect it. So I opted to get the Mirena, and I bled like crazy, like uncontrollably. It was very, very scary. they told me that I kept calling the doctors. They kept telling me it was because of the fact that I had so much lining from not having a normal cycle, which could be true, which is true. Like when you don't have a normal cycle, like that blood just builds up, it doesn't go anywhere. So it like, and not having a normal cycle and having all that buildup can actually put you at risk for uterine cancer. And so I had a lot of blood to shed, and so it took a long time. I think it took almost a month for it to truly stop. And once it stopped, I didn't have a cycle at all, but I gained a lot of weight. I think that's like the first time that I actually gained like a significant amount of weight. I think I probably gained like 40 or 50 pounds. Not 40 or 50, maybe like 20 or 30. Maybe like 20 or 30 pounds I gained within the first 3 months of being on Mirena. So I was on Mirena, and then not too long after that, about a year and some change later, I actually got out the Navy. And right after I got out the Navy, in March of 2017, I felt like I had got a period in March of 2017. So I didn't really think anything of it. It was heavy, but I really didn't think anything of it because they told me that, you know, every once in a while you may get a period. So I really didn't think anything of it. So I got a period in March of 2017, and then it was just kind of all over the place throughout the year 2017. But I didn't really have, but then I gained another, I started gaining more weight, and it was almost impossible for me to lose it. Like it was crazy. All right, to dermaplane my face, I'm gonna use some aloe vera gel, and I'm just gonna take some of that and put it all over my face. You can use the plant, but I already have this in a bottle, so I'm just gonna put this all on my face. A lot of the videos I saw, they said you could use any kind of oil or any kind of like baby oil or any kind of like slick oil. There we go. All right. Oh, this got different. Can y'all hear this? Oh, you want a little ASMR? Okay. This is the tool that I'm using. And it says everybody says to just try to pull your 2018 out, the beginning of 2018 when I'm flying, and then all of a sudden I got a period in March of 2018. And I should have gone to the doctor then to just make sure everything was okay, until maybe like 2 months later. When I got the period, I got a period in March, but then I started bleeding again, and it would not stop. Like it would not stop, like at all. And I think I bled for like a month straight. And so I went to the emergency room, and I asked them to check and just make sure that the Mirena was still there, because one thing that can happen is that whether you have period cramps or anything like that, you can actually, the Mirena can fall out, and you just have to make sure that it's still there, or it could have been moved out of place from exercise or whatever. It could have been anything. So I just wanted to make sure it was there. And so the nurse at the emergency room told me that it was still there and everything was fine, and I was tripping. Cool, I'm tripping, all right, whatever, like. But then I didn't stop bleeding, so I kept bleeding. And then I finally begged for an appointment with the GYN, and they squeezed me in for an appointment. And it was a man at the time, and this is why I always recommend getting a woman GYN. I will never have another man be my GYN ever again, but this is why I recommend having a woman GYN. But he did my pap exam, and he said that he didn't see it. So he had me do an ultrasound to check and make sure, because he said that if it had gone up or anything like that, they were going to have to surgically remove it. So I had an ultrasound done, and they didn't see it either. So it was not there. At some point it had fallen out. I don't know when. I think that it fell out when I had that very first period in March. That's the only thing, because I have like, when you clot really bad, the Mirena is small. It could have fallen, out at any point in time. So I honestly think that's what happened. So after that, we were trying to get me to stop bleeding, essentially, because I was still bleeding at this point. One of the first medications that he tried to put me on was a birth control called Nora B. It's kind of like a birth control, but it's called Nora B, and it's supposed to be like more than a birth control. It's supposed to actually help, you know, with the cystic stuff and everything like that. And Nora B didn't work. In fact, it started to make it worse. I still never stopped bleeding. After that, I tried, there was something in between Nora B, but that didn't work either. And I just kept complaining. I kept going. Anytime, like, especially if you're a person of color, you need to make sure that you're being very vocal about your experience. If something's wrong or it doesn't feel right, you need to make sure you're saying something, and say something constantly. Because at the time I was living in Virginia, and the medical center that I was assigned to was just the worst. Like, it was the absolute worst. They told me a lot of the people, especially in the emergency room, kept telling me that nothing was wrong and that I was tripping and I was causing some of the stuff that was happening to me. But always be very, very, very vocal about what's going on with you. Even if you're paying for your insurance, if you have free insurance or whatever, utilize your medical benefits, because, like, they're supposed to help you, okay? My doctor ended up suggesting that I get a shot of it's like a kind of like a steroid. They use this actually in the process, the IVF process, and the shot is called Lupron, and it's designed to stop you from ovulating. So in the IVF process, they pump you full of hormones to get you to ovulate, and then they give you a trigger shot of Lupron to stop you so that they can farm the eggs. Well, in this case, Lupron is designed to, for me, he suggested Lupron to put me in menopause. That way I would stop ovulating and just, like, basically shut my whole reproductive system down for a few months. It's supposed to only last like 6 months. You get the shot, and then it's supposed to stop you from bleeding, because there was, I felt like there was nothing else I could do. He gave me the shot of Lupron, and it went completely downhill from there. It got even worse, y'all. Like, I can't even make this up. So when I got the Lupron, one of the side effects of Lupron is if you have any kind of fibroids, your fibroids will grow from the Lupron. So my fibroid actually grew and caused almost catastrophic amounts of bleeding for me. It actually almost killed me. I lost so much blood that when I got to the emergency room, like, if you want to hear like my whole story about that, I do have another video, but I can't even like get into it in this video because I just don't have enough time. But only the grace of God saved me, honestly. I think that was the only thing that saved me in that moment. But I lost so much blood that I ended up having to get 4 units of blood and 2 estrogen treatments because I was still bleeding. The estrogen treatments helped stop me from bleeding, because when I got the units of blood, I was still passing blood. So in order to stop me from bleeding, they gave me 2 units of estrogen. And as a result of getting so much estrogen, I developed blood clots in my legs, and I wasn't able to walk for about a month after that. So, and then Lupron was a whole nother experience. I did in fact go into, eventually the bleeding did stop, and eventually I did go into menopause, and eventually my fibroid did shrink and it stopped. And that was the main point of the Lupron, to shrink the fibroid, to stop me from bleeding and all that other stuff like that. But there's a lot of side effects when it comes to Lupron. I went into a very deep depression, which is how I ended up picking up all my stuff and moving to Atlanta. I went through menopause, which was hell. Like, in the summertime, I was always hot, and the hot flashes are so real. Like, they are so real. I was walking around with one of those little fans, and I had to literally sleep with a fan on my side. Like, I still have the fan on my side table to this day. Like, I had to sleep with the fan on, blowing in my face, because I would literally have these extreme sweats. I didn't realize how much the whole, like, it affected my mood until well after I moved to Atlanta. I went through a huge depression around my 30th birthday, and I honestly didn't come out of it until the summer of 2019. The end of the summer of 2019 is when I really started to come out of that depression. And I think honestly I have to give it to YouTube, because YouTube was really like the reason for that. Like me just investing my time into YouTube really helped me with that. So in 2019 I tried to figure out how I could naturally figure it all out, right? So in 2019, I was trying to figure out what's the best way I could do it holistically. Like, because I was just so frustrated with what was going on. I mean, like, who's 30 years old and goes through menopause, right? So one of my friends on Instagram had introduced me to, she had introduced me to maca. And honestly, I think maca kicked me out of menopause. Maca kicked me out of menopause, and that's when I had my first period in 2019. I just dermaplane. I'm about to wash my face real quick. So in the beginning of 2019, I discovered maca root. Somebody on Instagram had recommended that I try it, and I've had a love-hate relationship with maca root. It's something that you have to like gradually like let your body adjust to, but I do credit maca root to really helping me regulate my period, because even in 2019, after I had the period at the beginning, I didn't have another period again until August of last year, which is 2020. In 2020, I decided to like really truly give maca root a chance to like really settle in my system. I started taking small amounts of it every day, and then I upped it to, well, really I just take one 900 milligram capsule of maca root every single day, and eventually I got my period back, and I've had a regular period since August of last year, which I'm very, very proud of. And I've just been discovering other ways to help you know, regulate my cycle, my hormones, and just, you know, taking care of my body. I'm still trying to get the whole working out thing under control. Like the whole 30 minutes a day thing is something that I'm really trying to implement. I find it hard sometimes to like dedicate myself to it, but I'm really trying to at least, you know, do 30 minutes a day of some kind of exercise, whether it's walking. I recently discovered peppermint tea or spearmint tea. I recently discovered spearmint tea. And spearmint tea is supposed to naturally lower the testosterone in your body. So I've been drinking that for about 2 weeks now, and I will give you a report after a month or a few months of me using it, because it's supposed to like help reduce the amount of hair. The reason why I had the dermaplane today is because I am between laser hair removal treatments, and for some reason I missed the treatment. So like I did have hair growing back on my face, so that's why I'm doing a dermaplaning today. I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but that's why I'm doing that today. Oh, that feels so good. So my current regimen to take care of regulate my PCOS is as follows. I take a 900 milligram capsule of maca root a day. I drink a cup of spearmint tea with chlorophyll in it, about 10 drops of chlorophyll every single morning. I've been trying to implement a dairy-free and gluten-free diet, and that has been the hardest out of everything, because I love food, y'all. I love food. I'm finally on gluten-free TikTok, so I will definitely try to share some gluten-free recipes on this channel, as I like, maybe if you guys want like a gluten-free what I eat in a day type video. But I'm gonna be telling you now, like, it's not like I'm trying to make it a lifestyle thing, but I'm telling you, it's not easy. Like, it's really not easy at all. Like, transitioning to gluten-free is hard. I've been doing good on not eating too much pasta, but I've still been kind of eating bread. Potatoes are gluten-free, so I can eat those, but I'm trying to also be kind of low carb, and I feel like the chlorophyll has really helped me like kind of ease my appetite. I'm gonna do a nose strip, y'all. I'm gonna do a nose strip. I cut myself a little bit, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be real honest with the Dermaplane thing. I definitely cut myself, right up under here somewhere. So that's what I do to treat my PCOS at this time. I'm just trying to maintain my diet. I have been trying the holistic route, and my doctor is actually very supportive. She has been recommending me supplements. She said that I should really focus on my vitamin D, upping my amount of vitamin D supplement, and I'm hoping that this works, and I'm happy that you guys have joined my journey. I hope this gives you a little bit more information or insight about my body and how I've been dealing with things. If you want to share your PCOS journey down below, please do so. I'm gonna let this dry because I really want to peel this off on camera. So I will turn the camera off and I'll come back once this dries in about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll close the video out. Alright y'all, so that's it. I put my serums and everything on. I'll link everything that I use in the description box below. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you leave me down in the comments. I want to hear you guys' story about your PCOS journeys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!